Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be covering some of the upcoming changes to ground vehicles. Their movement and overall maneuverability is seeing some pretty significant changes here. I'm rather happy with how they're looking. DICE have just posted a few examples, so we're going to be going over all of that here in this video. Of course, later on today, if you're watching this video on the 2nd, we are getting the trailer for Season 6, so a lot of new information is going to be coming out about that later on. I will probably be streaming and doing my live reaction of that release video, so if you guys want to go and follow there and watch the video along with me, feel free to do so. Link to my Twitch channel is in the description below. And as always guys, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys as always for the support. So DICE posted a number of videos over on the Battlefield Communications Twitter account yesterday, and this is the first one here. And it says it's time to start ramping up with some quality of life improvements arriving as part of Battlefield 2042 Season 6 Dark Creations. Ground vehicles will be receiving a wide range of changes, from turn rate improvements to gravity alterations. To reduce the float and uncanniness of video game physics, we are adding settings that make them more grounded. Suspensions and wheel traction have also been improved for all land vehicles to support the extra gravity. Tanks have had further improvements to make them harder to flip from vehicle collisions. Expect full details as part of our 6.0 patch notes. So first of all, great to see that these changes are indeed coming in the Season 6 patch, not 6.1 or 6.2. And you guys have been watching a little video here in the background showing the before and after of the changed gravity to the ground vehicles and how there's a little bit stronger gravity now. So, you know, if you jump off a ramp or indeed a cliff, as some people like to do on exposure with a tank, you're not going to go completely out of control, flipping all over the place. It's a little bit more grounded, pun intended, and realistic, I suppose. Now, they followed up on this video with a second one, which is all about the turn rate of tanks. So they say here, tank track friction is lowered, allowing for tanks to have improved momentum when turning. In general, this will make it feel lighter when maneuvering the vehicle in all directions. We've also increased the engine power when running on the lowest RPM, resulting in improved acceleration and reverse, as well as turning from a standstill point. So here, once again, you can see that green number, I believe, is like the turning rate speed or something along those lines, and you can see that the old speed was something around 33, maybe getting up to like 34, and then with the new speed it's getting up to almost 70. So the rate at which you can turn tanks has been more than doubled at the maximum speed, and of course the acceleration of tanks has increased as well, as we're going to see in the next video here. So here you can see them doing a bit of a slalom. They're sort of maneuvering the tank in an S-like pattern, and it is just night and day. I mean, just look how immovable and difficult it is for these tanks. You can imagine, you know, if you've got cliffs, you've got paths, you've got vehicles and all kinds of shipping containers and whatnot blocking the path, and you're trying to zigzag your way with the tank either forwards or backwards to get into cover. And just look at the difference after the update. It is going to be so much easier. And they go on here to say a large focus will be on the steering curves of vehicles when not actively accelerating. There is now a greater expectation to manage speed to maximize maneuverability and steering input to navigate tight areas. These changes will also result in your vehicle no longer coming to a sudden halt whilst turning without acceleration. And I think if you're a tanker in Battlefield, that was really one of the pain points. If your tank came to a full stop, it would take a considerable amount of time really to get the acceleration kicking again. It seems now they decelerate slowly, so you know, if you're maybe pillaring, trying to attack an enemy tank, you're going to be able to sort of play that pillaring game a little bit more smoothly, and it's going to be a little bit more natural. Now, just to cover another couple of pain points for tanks here, I'm not the biggest tanker, but this guy here, 40, chimed in on this thread, and he says, now if only they would fix the turret delay when not zoomed in so that the tanks would function the same way they always did. Since Battlefield 5, you have this awful delay when not zoomed in, so you're basically forced to zoom in if you want to be accurate. We talked about this in Battlefield 5 with Tigger. And what this guy here is referring to is that when you're aiming with the tank in first-person mode while you're not zoomed in, you will notice that the tank turret turning has somewhat of a delay. And if you've got an infantry player that's zigzagging back and forth, that usually means that you end up overcompensating and your turret just sort of goes back and forth and you never really land any shots on him. However, you will notice here that if you zoom in with the turret, then you have a 1-to-1 sensitivity to where you're moving your mouse, and it feels exactly the same way it did in previous games before Battlefield 5, like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Now Eddie does reply here, and he says, not too sure about that. Flicking around 360ing in tanks depending on your sense is both a bit silly and not very healthy for the game. And I would agree with him here. You know, I think if you have a 1-to-1 turret turning speed to your mouse sensitivity and you can just flick all over the place the same way you can as an infantry player, that is just incredibly powerful as a tanker, and that's really one of the things that made tanks in Battlefield 4 and previous games much more powerful, and why you could go onto flags and sort of have your head on a swivel and just take out people like crazy. So I do agree with Eddie that that was a little bit too powerful. On the flip side though, what this encourages tankers to do is play at range, because most tankers then prefer to use the zoom view so they have that 1-to-1 aim with their mouse sensitivity, but of course the zoom view is no good up close and personal, and so what that means is that tankers are not going and pushing flags, they're instead staying back and sniping infantry from afar. What is the solution to this? I'm honestly not really sure there is a good solution. I think the changes they've made with the movement here is a really good start though. It should allow tanks to be a little bit more aggressive and push those objectives more, so I guess we'll see where that takes us. So whilst these are the changes that DICE have been prepared to show us at the moment, we do know that there are some more vehicle changes coming as well. Some big changes I think are coming to the TOR railgun tank. I sincerely hope that the changes to the TOR are not just these blanket movement mechanic changes to all of the ground vehicles. I really hope they are rebalancing the TOR because, well, you know, we're not going to go into that subject. You guys know where I stand on that vehicle. It's just incredibly overpowered. But they have also mentioned that there are some changes coming to the heads-up display of vehicles. So I noticed a post from Torbis here showing the old gunner seat indicators from Battlefield 4 and saying, you know, it's really helpful for both knowing where you're aiming. It would be good to know where the gunner is aiming, as well as maybe being able to get the gunner at a better angle would be cool for Battlefield 2042. This is of course one of the longest requested features. I've been requesting this like literally since day one of the beta, I believe. And Eddie says, you know, no disagreements there. We are working on a few improvements and we will share when it's ready. Worth mentioning that the HUD can't be fully changed as it's part of a much bigger picture than vehicles as a whole, so we have to play within those limits, aka we can't just copy pasta Battlefield 4. So that explains a lot. Obviously he thinks this would be a great idea, but it sounds like they're bound by some sort of technical limitations to do with the game's UI that stops them being able to implement whatever they want. So obviously, try as they might to fix up Battlefield 2042, it just goes to show that there are some fundamental things with the game that cannot be fixed, or it would simply take far too much time to do so. But still, nevertheless, good to hear that some changes to the UI are coming there. Not exactly sure what they're going to be, but as always, I will keep you guys posted. Hopefully, I will see some of you guys later on stream. I really don't know what to expect from Season 6 here. Honestly, I am just as excited about Season 6 as I am apprehensive. On the one side, you know, I'm looking forward to getting some new content, whatever that may be. On the other hand, if it does indeed turn out to be Battlefield Zombies like we've been hearing about, well, I'll have some things to say about that, that's for sure. Guys, as always, leave me your comments down below. Thank you to my members for the additional support, and thank you to you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.